Welcome to the second episode of Season 1 of the Metallica Re-Remastered series. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the second song of the first Metallica album, Kill 'Em All, Deal with the Four Horsemen. Originally called The Mechanics and spelled with an X, the Four Horsemen started off as a Dave Mustaine song about a mechanic who worked at a garage and serviced cars for women. And almost every line in the lyrics was a cheesy double entendre about sex. After Dave was fired from Metallica, the band kept the song, and James changed the lyrics and title to be about the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse. And he also said that they quote-unquote fixed the song. I'm guessing he's referring to the interlude section that was added that has a couple guitar solos from Kirk Hammett and that awesome bass solo underlying it all by Cliff Burton. Dave Mustaine, for his part, went on to form a new metal band, Megadeth, and they kept the song as is, with the original lyrics and title, and it ended up the final song on the first Megadeth album, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. As for Kill 'Em All, the official songwriting credits for the Four Horsemen go to James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, and Dave Mustaine. David Scott Mustaine, born September 13, 1961, was one of the founding members of Metallica. Since the Four Horsemen is probably the one song most associated with Dave Mustaine as it appears on a Megadeth album under another name, and since I'm doing a bio for all these guys anyway, I figured I would do one for Dave on the Four Horsemen. I know Dave's time with Metallica was short. Yes, it didn't work out. Yes, they let him go. He did go on to form Megadeth, one of the most influential metal bands of all time, right up there with Metallica and in the Big Four. Megadeth is widely believed by many fans of metal to be the most progressive metal band of all time. Dave is definitely one of the four founders of metal, and his contributions to Metallica may have been significant, but his contributions to metal were astronomical. Okay, so we're going to go to the first album, second song. Let's open the library. 0102 is the Four Horsemen. We'll open that up. And as you can see here, there are two tracks. One is the enhanced track, one is the remastered track. Now these are both the remastered version of the song from the CD remaster that they released in 2016. One of them has been enhanced with equalizers that I'm going to show you in a second. The other is the unaltered remastered version of the song. So here's the enhanced track, here's the remastered track. Now they're set at differing volumes, as you can see. The way Kill 'Em All was mastered, there's inconsistencies. Sometimes the rhythm guitar had a little bit more bass in it in other songs. Sometimes Cliff was louder or quieter. Sometimes the cymbals weren't as loud. So the volume is going to be different on each of these songs, higher or lower depending on what was needed to bring out the bass. When we get to Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, you'll see once they had Fleming on board, they really had a much more consistent tone from song to song throughout the albums. But for our purposes today, I'm going to show you what I did to basically enhance the bass on Kill 'Em All's Four Horsemen. So here's the first, and here is the second. Now what I did here is I basically used 8 equalizers, this equalizer, and I enhanced certain frequencies to get to the bass. I'm going to show you a frequency chart in just a few seconds to show you what I did to get to where I got. But first, our moment of guitar-architecture. The Four Horsemen runs counter to most traditional Metallica songs in that when the band is at rest and one rhythm guitar leads the charge, it's the rhythm guitar in the right channel. And that's most likely because this was a Dave Mustaine song and it was probably Dave's moment on stage. When James went on to record the rhythm guitar tracks for Kill 'Em All, he kept it that way. But going forward, that became a James moment on stage as James took that part for himself, as evidenced by any footage you've seen of Metallica playing the Four Horsemen live. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, here the band comes in and then stops, and the guitar that keeps playing is in the right channel. That is the opposite of most Metallica songs because the James Hetfield rhythm guitar is in the left channel. Instead, that guitar hangs back with the bass and drums. Another cool moment of the song is right here. This would be a great place for one guitar to take the charge, but instead both rhythm guitars play shoulder to shoulder for that wall of sound. Very cool. And right here as well. So you hear that guitar just keeps playing while the other guitar hangs with the bass and drums. Takes a little rest. Pretty cool. So this is the frequency chart that I used to enhance the bass on the first 3 albums to create the effects chains. Each album has two unique effects chains because they're all different. For example, Kill 'Em All has Kill Bass 1 and Kill Bass 2. And the reason that is because the bass volume on Kill 'Em All is pretty good. It didn't have to do too much to bring it out. And you get to ride the lightning, and the bass is a little bit quieter. And then on Master of Puppets, Cliff, unless he's being showcased like in Orion, the bass is pretty much flat in the mix. I don't want to say inaudible, but when he passed, you could see how easy that would be to do to somebody who replaced him. When they did that to Jason, it wasn't that hard for them to do because they were already used to turning the bass down. So I think they went a little too far with it, and Justice for All is the way it is. But back to the frequency chart, you can see here they have the bass fretboard and the guitar fretboard, and these would be the open strings, and the frets are numbered up top here in case you get lost. The low E string on the bass guitar, open position, 41 hertz. It's octave, 7th fret of the A string, 82 hertz. I kind of based everything around those frequencies, but I also gave an extra decibel or 3 boost to F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, the usual suspects in a Metallica song. Also, the bass has overtones, especially if you have a tone that is overdriven, like Cliff's tone on Ride the Lightning, where you have higher frequencies coming through the distortion. And that was really useful and helpful when I got to Call of Cthulhu, which we'll get to at a later time. And now let's take a look at the effects chains. We've got Kill Bass 1 and Kill Bass 2, and it's those 8 equalizers working together. The first equalizer on Kill Bass 1 has 3 frequencies boosted, and the first equalizer on Kill Bass 2 has 2 frequencies boosted. Both of those have a 30 hertz high-pass filter to keep the bass drum from wreaking havoc when you boost the bass. The other equalizers in the effects chain don't have a high-pass filter, and they only have 1 frequency boosted. And that's where I started. And I basically boosted everything from open E all the way up to the B above the A octave on the A string, which covers a lot of ground for where Cliff plays in the songs. So now let's take these babies for a test drive. I actually had to redo this section of the video because I played the song a little bit too long, and the YouTube Fair Use Act requires that you play less than 5 seconds. If you do go over 5 seconds, your song gets a copyright claim. You can remove it on YouTube, but it hacks your video up, it looks terrible, or you could just redo it. But it actually mistook this for the Four Horsemen rough mix from the reissued remaster. So the Kill Bass 1 and 2 effects chains actually confused YouTube as to what song this actually was. I'll take it. But now I'm going to show you how those effects chains enhance the bass of the song in less than 5 second increments. Here we go. Alright. Let's just play the enhanced track by itself for a second. Doesn't sound like much, it's just the low end boosted. Let's play the remaster by itself. Alright, and then let's play it all together. Love this part. And head over to here. Come up a little bit, and let's head for the ending. Alright. And now it's time for the in-album Lifeline segment brought to you by Fresh Produce. No, not the brand, the concept. Eat your fruits and veggies. In this segment, I discuss which songs have isolated bass tracks and which ones don't, and would I trade the one that I'm working on. And in the case of the Four Horsemen, I would say Cliff's bass is nice and loud in the mix. You can hear probably 90% of what he's playing without using headphones, and probably all of it with a good set. Would I trade it for Hit the Lights with that epic first soundcheck note after the introduction? No, I would not. And would I trade it for 2 live show staples like Whiplash and Seek and Destroy? Absolutely not. So I would say the verdict for the Four Horsemen is I would not trade another song's isolated bass track for this one's. Episode 2, The Four Horsemen, is done. The Four Horsemen Re-Remastered is next, followed by Episode 3 for Motor Breath. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is the Metallica Re-Remastered series. Stay tuned for more. If you wish to support the series, please check out the link in the description down below. Thank you. I'm gonna mute the enhanced track, so all you have is the unaltered remaster by itself, and I'm gonna kick the off, dude. The fuck, man.